Hey guys, as you can see, I just beat stage 10 of the new chapter alpha, I think is what that means, challenge, and it is hard. Like, this stage is hell, but my way of beating it is a little scuffed, but a little more free-to-play friendly than the average kind of strategy. And it's gonna make a lot of sense when I get into it, but this is the team. So, let's get into it. To go over the team, we have a couple things that are pretty weird, pretty important, and it's it's crazy. So we have no cleanser, we have two legendaries only, and it's really scuffed. So we have Lunaria as the Lord purely to give extra range to kind of to give extra range to Silas and Lily. Lily being a very, very underrated healer. She has this shield. Every 55 seconds, she puts out a shield if they're about to die, aka the allies, and it really, really, really helps in this fight. She's also just a really good healer. We have Silas, who is a very strong DPS. You could use any single target DPS. I recommend using stuff like Hex. You could use Micah. I think you could use Setram. You could use Sargak. You could use Yavar. Yavar is probably better. You could use any single target. I think Idril might work with some really good gear. But if you're at stage 10, chances are you have an option because otherwise you probably would not have made it here because it's just so hard. Next we have Nocturne. Nocturne is the secondary DPS. You basically just need two DPSs, two lanes, two DPS. Nocturne is a great option here. I do recommend using him. And then we have Vortex, who is a very, very, very good healer. He's built very tanky. You can build him super tanky. He has a ton of shields, which helps him live, helps other people live, and it's just all around so important for this fight. You cannot do it without Vortex this way. Obviously, you can if you use other things, but this way, Vortex is super important. Luckily, he's very easy to get. Next, we have Wrath. Wrath is a great unit. He's there mostly for being ground. He's built very tanky. I'll show the gear at the end, and he's just amazing. He does damage. He tanks well. He heals himself. He's great. I love him. Baron is the one flex slot. You could replace Baron with anything. I don't think it matters too much. He's just there kind of as a contingency plan if some ground unit is struggling or they die or I need someone to block. He's there. And he's also part of the Nightmare faction, which helps a little bit. And he's also an epic, so I'm using him. Next, we have Greed. Greed is amazing. He's there for the CC. Not really for damage, but he does do some damage. I do recommend that you have him A5, so every single ult he has inflicts slow. I think I should probably swap out his artifact because I've been using this base tier of Twilight the whole time. And I'm realizing now that I don't think that's so good. So let me just swap it. Emergency swap there for a base Samsara. But we have Greed. And then we have Hollow, who is there just kind of as another healer. She does Rage Regen. Does she need it? Not really. I'm not using her for that, but she is really, really good. That's why we have Hollow. You could probably use someone else. And then we have Olog as a great tank. So a lot of the guides I saw had Eloin. They were using cleansers, and I just wanted to kind of mix it up. So that's why this team looks like this. Because I could use Eloin and beat it super easily. We're going to want to wait until about 36, 37 cost, as you're going to see right here. And then I'm going to place Nocturne right on this tile, facing right. I face him right because he gets extra range on his left and right side. You could aim him up if you're using like a different DPS, but it will make it a lot harder. So I do recommend you use Nocturne for this, but we're going to place him there. Of course, I forgot to place Hollow right after, so let me do that again. So as I said, 36, place him right, and watch the magic happen. Honestly, he's just amazing. Very, very underrated. We're going to place Nocturne immediately. We're going to then place Hollow. I do recommend you place Hollow with Invig because Invig will boost Nocturne damage. And since he is one of two main DPSs, you do want him to do as much damage as possible. As soon as you get 17 costs, you want to place Lily like this. The two tiles above these two healers are going to be used a little bit later, so that is important. Here we are going to place Silas up. You can wait until after the cold snap if you want. But if you want to get the rage, you can place him before. It doesn't matter. As long as you're not in the middle, you're not going to take that much damage. As you can see there, though, we are kind of struggling here. So I will have to kind of manage this. I'm going to wait for Hollow to heal twice after this, and then I'm also going to place Lunaria purely to block this ice ball. Usually Lily will not get frozen like that, but since she did, I have to put out emergency measures just to kind of survive. When Nocturne kind of gets to this point, I will trigger her ult, and then I will trigger both of the DPS ults right here. A little bit of a hectic start there, but that is just how it goes. If you don't place Olog first, you do have to kind of be a bit careful. But I do recommend placing Olog a bit after. So Olog will go right here. He will never die. He's very, very, very tanky. Definitely probably the best. Definitely probably is an oxymoron. Most likely he's the best healer, I mean tank for this. I'm having a stroke. Don't read into it. Here we should tank this cold snap just fine, and hopefully we will deal with the middle a decent way. Next, I will place Wrath. I do think that you have to place Wrath there instead of Greed. Greed will be next, just because it causes some issues. Here you can leak an enemy. It's not a big deal. I am the leaker, so it is kind of in my blood. But you only need to make sure that 3 enemies don't go through, so you can let 1 or 2 leak as long as you deal with the rest, and we should hopefully be fine with this strategy. Next, I'm going to place Vortex, which is going to seem weird, but it'll make a lot of sense. We're going to place him in the middle. As you can see, everyone survived because Wrath is built tanky. I'm going to ult with the DPS here when these extra enemies come by, just to kind of do some supplementary damage. Greed is going to stun. I'm slow pretty well, and we should be fine. So in the middle, we have Lily shields and healing. We have Vortex shields and healing. We have Wrath, who is very tanky and does a decent amount of damage, and Olog. And then Greed is facing the middle to CC them. If anyone in the middle gets kind of frozen and ends up having 0 block, which is what happens, what's going to end up happening is Greed hopefully will slow them, and then we won't really leak any enemies. That is the goal. Here I'm going to be doing a Nocturnal right here, and hopefully clearing as many things as I can. As soon as this mage comes out of nowhere, I will end up triggering Silas ult, just kill everyone on the right. Everyone in the middle is surviving. If you need to, you can trigger Vortex ult to keep everyone alive. I do recommend it if you can, but if you're forgetting like I am, since I am commentating, and commentating is pretty hard when you're doing these videos, you might forget, and hopefully it'll be fine. Now, we're going to be at the hardest leg of the thing. Wait, why did the video turn off? Give me a second, I gotta fix this. Wow, that was so strange. I've never had that happen before. Well, enjoy the rest of the video. Sorry about that. I had a little bit of an oopsie here where I accidentally placed Baron a bit too early. Wrath ended up dying, and then I lost. So I'm just gonna quickly slot this in and pretend that it's actually the same recording. Everything went the exact same. Just I didn't mess up this time right here. So what we're gonna do is hope that we don't get frozen too bad. We're going to really try to hold out as much as possible. Here I will Vortex ult just to kind of keep everything in check. Here I'll Nocturne a little bit, and this is by far the hardest part of the fight. If you can get past this, you can get past the whole thing. As long as Lily doesn't get frozen, we should be good. And just hope and pray that everything goes well, essentially. Here I'm going to kind of just eyeball everything, try our best to stay alive. Hopefully Silas ult can deal with this kind of hammer guy, because these mages are really making it hard to get some damage out. As you can see, they're freezing and they are doing a lot of damage, so hopefully we will end up doing okay. Nocturne luckily can get this hammer guy down pretty well, and the hammer guys are very threatening. Here we go. We're doing pretty good work here and staying alive barely. Here Silas we could sell once we don't need the damage. We can kind of sell it. But it's rough. It's rough. We're scrambling to get enough damage out. I will place Lunaria purely to distract from, everything. I'm gonna sell Nocturne once we stop needing him. I will keep everything down because they are all contributing very well. Baron is there as a side thing. We have one more available leak that we can let happen, and we're just gonna do our best. So Wrath is suffering. Vortex is suffering, everyone is suffering, but the second we kill one more enemy, we are done, and we just have to deal with the boss, which is its own whole little thing, because it is also really, really hard. But we're gonna keep it going. I will place some damage down right there, just to kind of tie everything together, keep everything alive as best I can. We will place Baron because we have to. And right here, you're going to just kind of spitball it. You're going to place things the way you feel like is best. And here we go. Everything is dead. Now we can sell pretty much everything. I don't know if you should be able to sell everything and the boss like will get mad or whatever, but I will just kind of sell everything, including this. Hopefully we can keep it going, which we can. And now we essentially infinitely have time to deal with the rest. This is a reason why the boss stage is very annoying, is because it takes forever. I'm going to show you guys kind of the general deal, and then I'm just going to speed it up after a while once you guys kind of know what to do. Right here, we are going to place Vortex like this. It doesn't really matter when you place them or how you place them. We're going to also have Nocturne on the left with Hollow. I find that this is the best because Silas is the most important damage. So while you may be thinking, why am I not putting it with Hollow? It's because Hollow will die later on when the boss gets down to about 20%. He will start healing a ton. I will also place Oleg like this. And you just want to be careful, essentially. You want to be careful. You want to try to do your best. For now, we're going to spam our ults, except for Vortex ult, which we will need later. As you can see, this is the formation I have on the right. And because Silas is so strong, other DPS are strong too. So don't worry if you don't have him. You can just kind of place him there, and you just got to keep him alive. And he should have enough damage output if you time things properly. Also, since Oleg is there and will be infinitely alive, we're going to be able to not deal with a lot of the attacks of the boss because he will be constantly doing melee attacks. All we got to worry about is the cold snap, which we will never die from because no one is in the middle. I do not recommend you place anyone up front, even though you can, because there really is no downside. But as you can see, they will get one shot. And I mean, I could place Greed for some extra damage. Really does not matter at all because his damage is so minuscule. But now we're about to make it so that the boss is about to go into overdrive, which you will see very soon with Ancient Lineage. And now we're gonna freaking die pretty soon. That's just how it goes. Right here, we're having flash freeze. We want to trigger Vortex ult, keep everyone alive. I do recommend you place it earlier, but luckily we have a Lily Shield. As you can see, barely living. Generally, it will be a lot more safe, but that is what you have to do. Every time this bar fills up, he will do that attack and do a ton of damage. Every time there is a bar above him where it's like a move, he's going to heal 10%. So you are going to have enough DPS pretty consistently to kind of move past that. Glacial Purge, you're going to see he's going up to 80%. It's 10% each time. Cold Snaps are going to be very annoying, doing a lot of damage. We're just going to have to deal with them, and hopefully we are going to get Vortex ult before the bar fills up, which we are, so you're going to trigger it every time before that. And then hopefully, as soon as Vortex gets frozen, we are going to have big enough shields to where it won't matter much, as you can see there. And boom. There we go, we survived. You're going to do that every single time. I'm going to speed it up in a second, but essentially just trigger Silas ult when you can. Hope that you can do enough damage from everyone on the sides. And you're just going to keep blasting the boss away and doing your best. So you're going to see me do that over and over again, but I will no longer be commentating. So see ya in a minute. Come on, kill it. Kill it before the heal. There we go. So that is the boss down. That went a lot faster than expected. When I did my run before, it was a lot faster. Obviously, if you could 3-star it, that is great. I would almost 3-starred it a couple times, but I don't think you need to. There we go. There are the damage numbers. Silas, almost all of that damage was on the boss at the end. Otherwise, it would be almost identical to Nocturne, if not a little higher. And that is the stage done. Just 2 strong DPS. Silas is a beast, so it went by a lot faster than expected. And that is how you clear it. So there we go. I don't think I can auto this in general, so I don't think leaking makes a big difference. So just keep that in mind. I completely forgot to show the gear, so here it is. Lunaria, she basically doesn't get placed. I auto-equipped her. Who cares? Next we have Lily. Lily has a Kleptus just for the extra HP. As you can see, built a bit tanky. I tried to go for attack speed, attack, and HP, and basically nothing else. You don't need her to be as good as this, but I would recommend you have some decent HP. She has some random garbage ring. Next we have Silas. Silas is an Infernal Roar. I highly recommend you build it with more crit damage if you want more damage on the boss. But I mean, this is what I have. You know, it's good gear for sure, and also exclusive. Max Spirit Siphon is actually better. So I don't know why I used this exclusive, but I just like using it. I was using it earlier for other stuff. Vortex does not need to be close to this good. You just want to have him ideally in some HP gear with ideally Guardian, and aim for as high as you can get. I honestly would just like not have him with any attack speed and build him with whatever tank gear I have. I could just sort by this and toss on, this type of gear, and it would have been perfectly fine. Now we have Nocturne. Nocturne is in Soulbound Arcana. He's in this. It's pretty solid. Definitely not anything to sneeze at near tier nor tier Twilight. I don't think it needs to be that good, but that's what I got. And then we have the HP, which is at plus 20k. You could go a little higher too. His damage really does not need to be that high at all. This is probably the worst artifact I could have put on him, but it's what I put on him. Next we got Baron. Baron and Olog are both in something pretty similar. Basically just HP and defense Guardian. You don't need Baron and Guardian, but Oleg I would recommend, so keep that in mind. Next we got him, Greed. He is also in Soulbound Arcana. I do recommend more attack. I do have, some pretty good gear here, but that is what I got. I do recommend trying to have HP subs, but it doesn't really matter that much as long as he stays alive. Next, I got Hollow. Hollow is in her regular gear. Decent HP, decent attack. I think there is an HP percent in here somewhere, right here, instead of Rage Regen, which I usually run. She's in a Maxi Pork Orb. Doesn't have to be that high once again, but that's what I got. So, yep, somewhat attainable. It is a very, very, very hard stage, so keep that in mind. You can make it a bit lower. You can also bring other units that are better to kind of counteract that, but there you go. But there's the team. Definitely a pretty low team compared to what some other people are using, which is just how it goes. And very, very cool stage. I definitely like that we're getting harder events. I do not like how long it takes, but that's not really that big of a deal. I like that the events are interesting. I like that they are hard, and I like that they're unique. So definitely taking strides in a good direction with the content. The content's been really fun lately. Tell me your guys' thoughts in the comments if you would like. And yeah, that's everything I have for you guys today. Thank you guys for watching. I do appreciate it. And see you guys in the next one. Destined, signing out.